guests, Assalamu alaikum. I take a cue from Zia Khan Saab's address, the moment of truth. There was a moment of truth 600 years ago. Muslims were prospering and Europe was in dark ages. And then what happened? One nosedived, one skyrocketed. The moment of truth was the advent of printing press. And we Muslims denied the adoption of printing press because of our katibs, because of our different beliefs. And that moment of truth left us behind, and we went into dark ages, and everything was taken over by the West. And we handed over to them. It was our fault. We missed the opportunity. Next moment of truth was the advent of internet. And we were talking about poverty, equality, and suddenly the world has become equal. The world has become equal in digital. Now equality is digital. So we are not striving for digital equality. So if we miss this boat, there are no more boats coming. And the third and the largest in the history of mankind is the AI revolution. So what are we doing? There's a lot of noise of AI when I came. So I went into the history, 1951, somebody was playing checkers and developed the first program of AI, and then it was coined in Dartmouth, New Hampshire in 1956. And since 1956, AI is there. And but AI revolution took over 50, 60, 70 years. And that happens with technology, that happened with fax. Fax was first used in Second World War. It was commercialized in 1983. So we are at that point where we have another opportunity to become equal. We have another opportunity to see the dream of Ummah, as His Excellency mentioned. Are we ready? Yes. Then I saw all those speeches, $2.3 billion, $200 billion. And then I've been part of all those occasions, all those big parties of government where 100 billion, 50 billion, 30 billion. And I was wondering why we are not doing it, why the pace is so slow. Then I called a meeting of vice chancellors here. And one discovery was, as our guest from the government mentioned, that the vice chancellors were taking pride in producing $2 kits, the freelancers. So our target was freelancers. And freelancer is a Saturday, Sunday activity. Freelancer is the lowest end of the value chain. And I'm not from the fraternity. So I had to scratch my head. I had to talk to different people to understand what's happening, why we are not getting there. I look at the trajectory, I look at Vietnam, I look at all sorts of countries. I look at Ukraine prior to war. And then I also see, then I visited many companies, embedded system companies, companies producing parts for Siemens in Faisalabad, companies producing parts for, they are not allowed to tell, companies producing parts for writing programs for SAP. So companies supplying to BMW, part of their brains, going out of Faisalabad, nobody knows. So what's happening? Why this is not an ecosystem? So what's happening? So I lost more hair. And then going into, I was also involved in bringing NIC here, which is a great initiative as startups. So we have an NIC here, and probably one of the best NICs. Then again, NIC is not the solution, is not the only solution. So why we are not getting there? So let's train people. So I met Khan Sahab. So Khan Sahab is a real passionate patriot. Zia Sahab, hundreds and thousands of students. We went to Governor House, Karachi, 50,000 student teaching facility being built up. So, but what's happening? Why we are at 2.3, and we could barely come to 3.6 billion dollars, which is peanuts. And what about 100? What about 200? How and when we'll get there? Then I started meeting faculty. Then I thought the faculty is short. And then I started realizing that the courses are dynamic. They're changing every day, and so it has to be a dynamism. Faculty, probably the fixed faculty is redundant. So we need a dynamic faculty, which could be you, which could be young people. So dynamic faculty, and then we are producing kids. And so what are we missing on? So the first piece was, in my view, was students. So I saw passionate people like Zia Khan Sahab doing all the tweakings in the curricula, and one course never resembles the other course, and producing great boys, Daniel and Usman, and a lot of products. Then I thought, I'm just sharing you the journey. Then I thought maybe big boys are not here. So we spoke to Netso, we spoke to systems. So they brought up their small campuses here, and their main reason was that they wanted to reduce the cost of human resource, because our boys were cost effective for them being hired in Faisalabad. So then again, problem is not resolved. And on the other side, as a thinker, I'm thinking, what AI will do to us? Will it vanish jobs? What will happen? So when I went through literature, the lowest part of the human spectrum jobs, the lowest part will remain, the menial jobs. And the managerial, the repetitive jobs will be gone. And humans will thrive in the imaginative area, where there is creativity, provided that creativity can be converted into innovation. Because creativity is nothing if it is not commercializable. So, is AI good for future? Question is obsolete. We can't avoid it. We are in it. So we've got to embrace it. We can't be afraid. Take it head on. So, what do we do? Then I try to see the future. So there is a great department of future studies in the University of Hawaii, one of the best in USA. So I went there. So they have pictures of what will a certain job look like 3 years from now, 5 years from now. And I was flabbergasted. This is not my world. This is not the place where I live. So, trillions of IoT devices connected. What will they do? 250,000 websites loaded every day. And look at the video content is seen more than the static content. Strange, totally strange for me. And 3.3 trillion Zoom meetings in a year. Can you imagine the volume? And 500 million plus tweets every day. 140 billion messages in WhatsApp per day. And I'm sure this data is redundant because I took it 5 days ago. I'm sure about that. Those platforms are bigger than any damn country in the world. Facebook is larger than any country in the world, it's larger than China. So where are we living? So what will happen? Are we ready? So then I found out the crown piece which was missing. The crown piece is the businesses. The crown piece is Rana Saab. The crown piece is Ahmed Saab. The crown piece is the industrialists sitting here who believe in tangibles, textiles, metals, pharmaceuticals. That crown piece has to change, has to realize you can't grow in those fields anymore. You've got to change. And the industrialists which are here, I request them to kindly hold a meeting, talk on this, bring your kids. The industry is getting ready technologically, but not in marketing. You have the resources to travel, you have the resources, you have the exposure, that's not there. We need to combine. We need to combine and we can exponentialize. The turnovers we are doing are nothing, believe me. The cost of goods, the goods we sell today in textile, the cost of goods touches 80%. In this, the imported component is hardly 5%. We need a rented place to sit, and we need computers costing less than 3% of the project cost, and that's all. And human resource, and human resource, and human resource. So there is a serious disconnect. The chain is again broken. And this is a moment of truth. If we don't catch it, we will never get there. As Faisalabad, as Pakistan, as Ummah. So we need to put our act together. There's a huge opportunity, despite we underperforming in all aspects, despite we missing all the boats. God has given another opportunity. So let's take that opportunity, let's ride on this boat together, and let's work together. The very important thing is collaboration. No technical person can be a great salesperson, and no salesperson can be a great technical person. We need to understand our position in the value chain. This is what successful companies have done. We need to understand our position in the value chain, and we need to have a fair share for each other. If we fight on share, we get nowhere. So I'll end up showing you a glimpse of the future, where we're headed.
A bigger force for change than technology. It changes absolutely everything about the way we live, the way we get around, the way we eat, even the way we talk to each other.